welcome you to the Priscilla R. Tyson Cultural Arts Center for our Conversations and Coffee as we come together on this Thursday, the 14th day of December, 2023. Beautifully bright, sunny day. I'm Ellen O'Shaughnessy, coordinator of the program. We're delighted to have with us Nick Boskin, who was referred to us by Evan Smith, one of the team of Channel 3, and an artisan juggler himself, who has shared his talents through Conversations and Coffee next June. Thank you, Evan, for bringing Nick to us, who comes to us from Cincinnati today. Thank you for making that commute, Nick. You've been creating wire art for 7 years and practicing circus arts for 14 years. But going back further than the 7 years, you're going to tell us the story of how you began with this piece right there. Magic, huh? Nicholas shares that he loves to combine two passions and make circus-themed wire art sculptures and jewelry. Nick shares that he loves to create miniature circuses and worlds out of wire. Nick has performed with the Cincinnati Reds, Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, with many other events. He's worked with the Cincinnati Circus Company for 10 years. It'll be exciting to hear the story. He says that he has never taken any circus, jewelry, or art sculpture classes. He has taught himself juggling, unicycle, stilt walking, fire performing, and wire sculptures, all on his own. You have to tell that story of that teacher starting you out. What a delight to have you with us today, calling us to creative fun and artistic expression. Take it away, Nick, and tell us that story of what you did with those paper clips.
So when I was 9 years old, so this is a picture of me at 9 years old, I used to be a kind of kid that didn't really like to pay attention in class and was always looking for something to do to keep me busy and distracted from what the teacher was trying to teach me. So I used to go up to my teacher and ask her if I could borrow some paper clips, and she thought I was trying to get more organized, so she would keep giving me paper clips, and then I would pull them apart in my desk. It was like one of those desks that you could lift up, and so I would lift the desk up and be working on my art in there, and she couldn't see what I was doing. And I used to be obsessed with drawing and both drawing and making little swing sets, because I loved swing sets when I was a kid. And so I would make these little swing sets that can actually swing out of paper clips. And one day she happened to find them all and threw them all away and told me I wasn't paying enough attention in class. And so I felt pretty bad about it, and I didn't make any more wire art until about 7 years ago. I was at a job and I was telling someone the story because we had all these paper clips in front of us from organizing papers, and someone said, well, can you still make one of these swing sets? And so I made a swing set, and then people started saying, can you make this, can you make that, and challenging me while I was working when we had downtime to make different things. And so I'll pass this one around. Feel free to make it swing. It actually swings a little bit if you twist it. And don't worry, it's not very fragile. So I just made that in the car. I don't have the original ones anymore because my teacher had thrown those ones away, unfortunately. So I'm going to show you some of the paperclip art that I started with. So this one is at the Betsy Ross House in Philadelphia. I still do this some, but just hang things wherever I could find them in cities that I was traveling through and things like that. So that's another swing, kind of coming back to my roots. And this one here is in New York City. It's a butterfly. And this one is in New York City going up to the High Line. The Highline Park. I kind of like how that looked like a frame, and so it's a paraglider coming through that frame there. This one is a golf cart. I started off at the time, the job I was doing, I was delivering luggage from golf carts, so I made that for my boss. And this was my first commission. It is for Rick and Ron, who are getting married, and that was the very first commission I ever did. Piano. This one is a peace sign that I left somewhere in Virginia, but I don't remember exactly where. And this is an Ohm sign. I used to make a lot of these and hang them different places. This one was at a peace rally outside the White House in about 2016. And this one was at Magic Gardens in Philadelphia. They had like this outdoor mural, and so I just decided to add something to it. And I'm not sure if they ever realized that it was there or if it's still there or not. This one's a hot air balloon. And then this one is a trapeze in between two garbage cans in Cleveland. And that kind of goes into the next one, which was one of my first big pieces where I started working with jewelry wire. The paper clips were really fun. They kind of reminded me of Legos a little bit, connecting them all, figuring out how to connect them. But the jewelry wire allowed me to have a lot more length and was a little bit shinier. So I really enjoyed switching over to jewelry wire, and that opened things up. And that was my first ever time I had my art on display at the cafe at the place I used to work. And that's this trapeze right here. Here's another picture of
jewelry
it.
wire. Tell us about jewelry wire.
Sure. So jewelry wire, the type I made is, type I use is made of aluminum. And so I make like, these are little jugglers, and I can pass this around too. So these are juggling earrings, and the little lines show the lines where the path that the ball takes. And I'm also wearing one right now of my earrings that I make. But I like to make little people, skiers, things like that with the jewelry wire. It's very malleable, comes in a lot of different colors, and it's a lot of fun to work with. This one is a juggler, and I have been juggling for 14 years, so I also stilt walk, unicycle, fire perform, but my favorite thing is juggling, especially 3-ball juggling, and I love going to conventions and hanging out with other jugglers, and we've got 2 other jugglers in the audience today that came with me. And
You're going to share some of that with us?
Yes, I'd love to.
Oh, great.
So this is just a little 3-ball juggling. So that is a 7-ball juggler, and I put that one right in the center of my trapeze here. I worked on 7 balls for a while, and I got about 25 catches, and then due to some physical injuries, I had to stop training with it for a little while, so I hope to get back to it someday, but I like doing like the 3-ball juggling the best.
What did you do with the Cincinnati Reds?
I would walk on stilts and juggle at different events, but usually it was just at the games. Sometimes they would have a Reds Fest, and so I had red and white stilt pants and the Reds outfit, and I would walk around going into. Basically, we could go anywhere in the park, so it was really fun. I got to explore some of like the casino and different areas that you have to have special tickets to get into, so that was pretty fun.
That's delightful.
Yeah.
Ah.
These are some acrobats doing what we call a two-man high. That's where someone stands on the other person's shoulders. And we used to do this at our juggling club a lot. I've never been the person on the bottom, but I stand on the top and can juggle on top of someone's shoulders. But that was something I used to do more when I was younger, and I don't really do so much anymore. This is an alien jazz band. I've got a saxophone, guitar, and a drummer. Every circus needs an alien jazz band. We've got a mime and a fire breather right here. And this one is a unicyclist. It's kind of just a fun, whimsical thing to add in because technically you couldn't really have a unicyclist up on the support beam, but it's just a fun thing to add in. So he's balancing up on the wire up there. And this one is actually made by my brother Vinny. He was one of the ones that really inspired me before I got back into wire art. When he was in high school, one of his teachers got him into wire art. And so I started, I always saw him. He mainly makes these little wire guys that look like that, and he hangs them all over the place. He's hung thousands of them all over the country. And so I used one of his for what's called a lyra. It's a type of aerial arts, and I have that right there in the middle. And then here's the people getting caught, and they have magnetic hands, so they actually swing as well. Another picture of the net of the ladder here. The ladder is made of paper clips. So there are about 421 paper clips in the net, and then there's jewelry wire in the net as well. And there's probably, I think I added it up at the time, and it was around 230 feet of wire in just this net.
So the paper clips take you back to the story. You were
Yes.
9 years old, huh?
Yes.
You've got to have that teacher
Yeah.
meet with you.
I would love to find her. I don't know where she is or what she's doing. It's been a while. And this one, I really like that picture. That's by my friend Cortez. And it kind of reminds me of an eye, the way it looks with the eyeball in the middle was this is a pool that the guy is doing a high dive into. So I wanted to have all the different elements in this. So I have the water, air is the people swinging for the element of air, and then on the ground I have the different ground performers, which is what we'll often call people that are doing things on the ground in the circus. And then I've got, and so that would be for the earth element, and then for fire, we've got the fire breather. And this is the trans flag I've got at the top here. I've transitioned 8 years ago, so that's a big part of my life, and I love to put different like trans-colored, flag-colored pieces in. So the net is the colors of the trans flag, and there will be a few more things that coming up in these slides that have those color schemes in them. Let's see. Oops. And this.
I was just wondering how long it would take you to do something like that boat that you just showed.
The boat took me probably about 20 to 25 hours. Yeah, that was a gift from my father for Father's Day, and he let me bring it up here to show. But
I noticed it was not for sale. I thought
Yes.
somebody special has that.
Yep.
Your father, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And I'm not sure. Let's see if I can play this. I'll just skip to the next one. But what inspired me to make this trapeze is that I was taking a workshop at the place that I worked. We used to have a trapeze that would come every year, and they would do trapeze classes and workshops. And so I took a weekend-long workshop on the trapeze where I got to learn how to get caught by somebody, and that inspired me to make this whole trapeze. There we go. So this is a video of me getting caught on the trapeze from the workshop. So that's me on the right there. Wow. Look like real people. Yeah. So that was what inspired this, and I really love the trapeze. It's something I don't get to do that often, but it's really fun and invigorating. And this next piece that I'm going to show you is what we were just talking about, the sailboat. I call it not for sale, but S-A-I-L, because it also can't sail since it's made with wire. And it was a gift to my dad for Father's Day. And I'm going to pass it around so you can look at it. So don't worry, it's very, very secure and won't break or anything. So feel free to touch it. But yep, so I used jewelry wire for this entire thing. And I don't know how much wire's in it, but probably a lot. And that was when that was one of my first pieces where I really started to use jewelry wire and get into it. And I really like how it looks shinier, and it allows me to use, one strand of wire for a longer space. And so it really opened things up a lot. Here's another picture of it. These pictures are from my friend Ari Pittman, who also took the two pictures over there that we'll be getting to later. This one is in Talkeetna, Alaska. I traveled with a circus and music group in Alaska for about 3 weeks, and we went to a place called Talkeetna, Alaska, and they had a youth circus there. So I left this unicyclist that's going down like a little chain that was holding a microphone in place on their stage, and I just left it as a surprise for the kids. And this one is a flower that I made. It's a lotus flower. And then this is a scuggler. So you might not have heard that term before, but in the juggling community, when you ski and juggle at the same time, we call it scuggling. And it's something that I like to do. I go to Perfect North Slopes outside of Cincinnati and practice there. And then sometimes I go out west. And so I have a few friends that have inspired me to get into that. And this is somebody who's on skis and juggling. And there's some more skiers. And the one on the far right is balancing torches on his face. More juggling. There's also a scuggler. So you can tell with this one, that's the path that the balls take. It kind of looks like an infinity sign. But when you're just juggling 3 balls, that's what the pattern looks like. And this one is somebody holding 2 torches, balancing a 3rd torch on their face. And that's someone on a unicycle grinding on a rail with their pedal. Would call that a pedal grind. 5 hoop juggler. So some people will juggle hula hoops. And so I was inspired by that to make somebody juggling 5 hula hoops. And this one is somebody who's balancing on a ladder while juggling torches. It's actually something people do. They stand on the ladder and they'll have to kind of rock back and forth like this to keep it balanced. And then while they're doing that, they'll juggle torches. So I know someone on Instagram that does this with 4 torches, actually. And this one is of someone named Eva Vita, or the Lady Juggler. She's no longer alive, but she lived a very long life. She was a famous historical juggler who used to juggle parasols and umbrellas. So that's her juggling umbrellas, and I used some little cocktail umbrellas for that. And this is my favorite juggler, Jay Gilligan, who's also from Ohio. And so that's him, a picture that's kind of famous of him doing this balance with the clubs while he is throwing the third one with, or the fourth one with his foot. So I made that one with wire as well. And this one here is made with chicken wire and jewelry wire. I made this one with my brother, so it was a collaboration. It's of an octopus juggling 15 balls, and it's currently the world record for juggling is 14 balls, so he would have the world record if he was real. And so we used utility wire and play pit balls like they have at like a McDonald's play pit. So they're really light and have no weight to them to hold those up. And you can see there's spirals on each of the tentacles, and the spirals are for the little suction cups that the octopus have. It's a Pulpo Colorado octopus is what we modeled him after, and he's supposed to be anatomically correct. And so we used chicken wire, and then we spray painted it purple, and then came back in with jewelry wire for the details. There's him on a boogie board. He's got a little medal in this one that said "World's Best Juggler." And that's my brother there. You can see sometimes with certain lighting, we called him Larry the Juggling Octopus. Larry can look kind of invisible in the right lighting, so it almost looks like we're juggling in the picture instead of holding a sculpture of an octopus juggling. But that's Vinny, who made the sculpture with me. And this next one I brought with me as well. This is the Teton Juggler. He's pretty famous on Instagram. He did the world's first backflip while juggling and skiing at the same time. And so this is a shadow box. So I've been recently getting into shadow boxes and trying to get into painting. So this painting is actually by my brother Vinny, but this one here is by me. And so I did the wire for this and made the scuggler doing the flip, and then the background is by my brother Vinny. Yes, he's very inspired by Bob Ross, so he's watched hundreds of Bob Ross videos and done the paintings with him, and I think was a big inspiration for him. And here's the video just to give it some context of the backflip scuggle. That's not me, no. That's my friend Joe, the Teton Juggler. And so there it is again. So you can see that's the context. I was making that moment where he got the world's first backflip, just like a screenshot of it, inside of a shadow box. And that's Joe on the right there. We got to meet at a juggling festival. So he's a big inspiration of mine with the scuggling, because the stuff that he does, the Teton Juggler, is really, really cool. And this one here is club jugglers. Their arms are crossed underneath each other. And this was my first time vending at a juggling festival for selling my art. And so I often go to festivals and sell circus art there. And, jugglers love to get juggling art or sculptures of juggling. And so this was the International Jugglers Association, and it was a really big opportunity. So I had all my stuff out on this huge display, and that was this past summer. This one here is Philippe Petit. So it is the World Trade Towers, but if you can tell, there's right in the middle there's a little dude balancing on a tightrope between it. And I was making the moment where Philippe Petit walked on a tightrope from Man on Wire, where he actually in real life walked on the tightrope between the two twin towers without any harness in the 1970s, I believe. And here's some closer up pictures. These were also taken by my friend Ari.
Now, if I can ask a question, is Philippe Petit to scale in these photos?
No, he is not to scale, because if I made him to scale, he would be so small you wouldn't be able to see him. So I made him very small, but big enough that you can still see that there's somebody walking on wire. Yeah. So there's a close up of him. And that's me at my first gallery opening with the Philippe Petit's magnificent tightrope walk. And that's my friends that came to celebrate with me.
Those towers made out of wire too?
Yes, so these towers are made with chicken wire, and then what I did was I made the outside with chicken wire fencing, and then I took jewelry wire and ran stripes up and down along it to make it more visible. And then I took black paper and I put that inside on each corner to make the wire stand out more. And then my friend Chris Yantek, who I used to work with at the circus, helped me build the base for this sculpture. So I love to collaborate with other artists and friends, and that's one of the great things. Like my friend Dagny here in the audience helped me map out this whole trapeze and helped me punch the holes in this for the trapeze and paint some of these. And so
Comment on this experience.
Hi there, I'm Dagny, and yes, I did indeed help with the trapeze.
awesome. Yeah.
What would you like to say about helping?
It was a wonderful experience.
It looks like so much fun, but I'm sure it's a lot of work.
It was truly a blast, and we did have some difficulty getting the glue to hold on the dowel rods that the trapeze structure is made out of there, but it was nice because the wires actually helped hold it all together in addition to the glue. It kind of like a real trapeze. I don't know if Nick and I both used to work at the trapeze down with the circus. We used to have to set up the net every time there was classes there. So it was interesting building one in smaller scale.
How do you transport that?
We just put it in the car, and it's pretty stable. I empty the water out, and that's about it. And it transports just fine. Now, transporting this one's a little bit trickier. I have to cut it off the base and then rewire it in the parking lot whenever I move it. So it's a little bit more complicated to travel with. Yeah,
But you keep that spirit of fun all through it.
definitely. Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I just like to have fun in life and, be in a good attitude, good spirit.
It's a gift, huh? And tell us what you do as your job, you were telling me earlier.
Yeah, so in addition to working at the circus, I've also worked with adults with disabilities for many years. I started working in person with people with disabilities, like as kind of like a caregiver or an aide, helping people with cooking, cleaning, driving places, things like that. And then I switched over to a remote role where I work with people that have technology in their houses, where I can call in, remind them to take medications, check in with them, answer any questions they have, monitor different security sensors to make sure people stay safe and things like that. So now I work remotely doing that, but it's still serving people with disabilities.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And the sailboat was also one that I had on display at that gallery as well. So there's a picture of it on display. This one I like to call Between Life and Death, because we have on the left side a tree that's dead and it's attached to a bloodstone rock. And on the right side is a tree with copper wire and electric blue leaves, a bonsai tree with rose quartz rock. And then there's a slack line between them with a little juggler. There's a little close-up of the leaves. And here's another shadow box I made. This one I call Three Little Birds, kind of like the Bob Marley song. And so I used watercolors to make the birds, and then wire to make the leaf and the feet and what it's sitting on. So I was just trying to branch out a little bit away from the circus and make other, more normal art that people might be interested in, or they weren't as obsessed with the circus like me. So
Comment on that? I just thought how much those birds, you brought them to so much life. They're
Yeah.
having such a good time.
yeah, I think the wire adds, a different dimension to it. It's fun to think about how I can combine the wire and the painting. And so painting's new for me. I like to watch videos on YouTube and tutorials on watercolors. And then this one here is a Bob Ross tutorial that I followed with a little skier on coming through here. And then up here is the chairlift. And so I've been, that's where I see myself going, is getting better at painting and combining painting and wire more, especially with shadow boxes. And I think the wire, having something come out, can kind of bring it to life a little more. And then this one is my circus practice on the beach scene. This has 3 palm trees, which I really like making these palm trees. They're a lot of fun, and one of the things that I've been working on recently. And then this is acrobatics of somebody doing, there's actually a group in Uganda of acrobats that I know from Instagram that do that same exact position. So I took a screenshot of that and then made that with wire. And there's also someone balancing an umbrella on his face, and someone juggling some fire, someone falling into the ocean off a slack line, and then a little swimmer in the back. And right up here, you can see there's a juggler up in the tree. He's a little hard to see, but he's up in the tree there, juggling. And then here's another juggling one. The clubs are Trans Pride clubs that have the trans flag colors on them. And then this one is this one right here. I think of this like probably my favorite piece that I've ever made. It is so the red on the outside is the curtains, and then we've got 2 stilt walkers that are holding torches in their hands, and then there's a band here coming out kind of like an orchestra pit. So I'll have some close-ups to show you so you can see it better, but this here is the stilt walkers with torches. And the mantelpiece I got at a thrift store, and it just looked like an orchestra pit. Someone said, "Oh, this looks like an orchestra pit," and so that kind of got me thinking of like having the band come out from the sculpture. And it's all made with broken glass. I went to different thrift stores and found colorful glass. And then my friend Natalie and I smashed up the glass with a baseball bat and used epoxy resin to attach it to a canvas and frame it. And the frame is reminds me of the type of architecture that they have at places like the Symphonies Music Hall and things like that, where you would see a show like this. So there's a close-up of the jugglers, and so they've got torches in their hands, and there's a conductor right down in front there. This is the electric guitarist. That's the bass player and the cello player. There's the timpanis, the flute on the right, French horn on the left, and then in the very back in the front there is the conductor. This is a violinist. And this is actually the gig that inspired it. It was my friend Dagny and I got to perform with the symphony orchestra, and we were on stilts for it. We didn't get to actually do torches, but I just wanted to make it a little more fun in the artwork.
How did you perform?
It was to the Flight of the Bumblebees on New Year's Eve, and so they had us come out on stilts and do club passing between the two of us right in the middle of the stage. And so that's the two of us on stilts there.
Oh,
And
that's you.
yeah, so that's a
wonderful.
picture from it, and that was what kind of inspired it. The whole mural or mosaic, and so the band I just moved down and made a little smaller and had 2 stilt walkers. This one is a phoenix that's made with jewelry wire and then also chicken wire fencing. And this one I made with my friend Natalie here. We made the whole structure of this with wire, and then what we did was we used paper mache and then came back through with broken glass and glued it on there to make, it's supposed to be the Bengals mascot, Houday. And so it's a Bengal tiger, like a baby Bengal tiger.
Limit to what you can do.
Yeah, no limit. Most of this stuff is just within the last year that I've been working. So I think trying to evolve my art constantly and try new things. And so we actually used a coat hanger to hold it up. This wire right here is just a coat hanger that's wired into the base of it, and that kind of holds them up in that position.
So for your symphony, how did you make the timpanis and the other musical instruments?
So for the timpanis, I actually had I bought these little miniature chairs from Michaels to put them on, and it came with these tables, and so I pulled the top of the table off and made a wire base for it, and then glued the top of the table onto there and painted it. And for the other ones, just kind of making the outline of the instrument with wire and leaving the center open was what I did for those.
Who were those green people down there in the left corner?
That's the Alien Jazz Band. Yeah. So, because it's called Nick's Elemental Intergalactic Circus. So that's the intergalactic part of it. And then the elemental part is the fire, the water, the earth element of people on the ground, and then the people in the air. So it's got all of it in it. And this one here I also have framed over there. My friend Ari also took these photos. This was a recent one that I did of a ski resort or a ski chairlift going up the staircase in between the Crone Conservatory in Cincinnati and the overlook at Eden Parkway. There's like a little rainbow staircase, and so I put the chairlift going up on the handrail of the staircase there, and I just left it there. So as far as I know it's still there, but I haven't gone back to look yet. Sometimes when you leave stuff out in public, they get taken down, so it's hard to know. So this one is a guitarist who's skiing on the chairlift, and then we got a scuggler on the chairlift there, juggling and skiing. And this is somebody who's falling off the chairlift, and his friend is helping him up there. And there's just another angle of it. And there's some snowboarders, another skier with some ski poles, more skiers, and those are what the empty chairs look like. And there's me with all of them. You can see they go up the handrail there.
And where might that be that you said people might take them?
Oh, I left them. It's a public staircase in between the Crone Conservatory in Cincinnati and the Eden Parkway overlook. There's a rainbow staircase that goes between the two, and I put it on a handrail about halfway up there.
How delightful for people just to see it.
Yeah, that was the idea, just to make people smile and see something they weren't expecting to see.
A lot of people doing wire art.
I haven't seen a whole lot of people except for my brother that does it. And then I did join some groups on Facebook, and there's a lot of people around the world that do wire art. And so I'm starting to learn, see different ideas from people and see what other people are doing. So that's a lot of fun to see. And this one here, I really like this shot. It's also over there framed. And it's just the guitarist and the juggler and the dude falling in the background. And I like that he was able to get them all in one shot.
Colors look really nice behind it too.
Thank you.
Now there,
Yeah.
let's hear.
I said the autumn colors look really nice too. So it's like the natural environment's also playing into the color of the wire and the shears.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your way to becoming a painter as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I have some of these shadow boxes here with me as well. This one I've made a couple of. It's really popular with jugglers. It's a juggler that's holding 2 torches and then balancing one on their face. And like I said, this one I went off of a Bob Ross video on YouTube to help me with. And that one there I didn't do the painting for, but that one's my brother who's very good at painting. And that's pretty much the evolution of where my art has come to right now. That's the last picture I have. But if there's any questions that anyone has. Thank you.
And the friends that came with you today, let's hear from you.
Inga has a question.
Oh, Inga has a question.
Did you paint those clouds?
Yes, these ones here. Yep. Thank you.
Do you use a special kind of glass for your sculptures, or how do you procure that?
I just go to thrift stores and look for the colorful glass. So I'll have a whole cart full of vases and plates and cups and random colors, and then we take a bat and put them in a paper bag so that all the glass pieces don't hit us when we're smashing them. And then we take the bat and smash them up into small pieces, and then it's kind of like reminds me a little bit of like a puzzle, trying to figure out how to put them all together so that they fit, and it's a lot of fun.
As a volunteer in a thrift shop, trust me, love to see you coming.
That's great.
Get that glass out of there.
Yeah, it's funny. They'll always be like, "Oh, I don't have enough to wrap all these up," and I'm like, "I'm just gonna break them. Don't worry."
Sophia, you as a painter.
Yeah, I think
Here, let's have you blood.
I think that you should do some more painting and combining
Definitely.
your art with it.
Uh-huh.
And you'll be famous, I'm telling you,
Thank you.
because you are good. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's where I want to see myself going. Is I might look even into I've not taken classes before, but open to it and learning about different art organizations around my city, and so I'm looking into taking some classes and then using YouTube videos to learn different techniques and everything.
And this evening, you and Evan and a few others are going to a juggling.
Yes, we're going to the Just Jugglers that meet in Columbus. So that was another great thing about coming up here on Thursday, is that the juggling club meets on Thursday. So we're all going to go practice juggling around 5 o'clock, and it's just a lot of fun to get together with other people that juggle. And most of my friends are jugglers and circus people, so they really appreciate the different stuff that I make, and it's really great.
How does one get involved in juggling or circus? Like, where do you?
Well, for me, I was in college just looking for some friends, and I saw a juggling club, so I joined and learned how to juggle. Juggling clubs are a great place to learn to juggle. I know here in Columbus they have the Just Jugglers, and I know that sometimes colleges and schools will have juggling clubs as well, and jugglers are always willing to teach people and show people what they're doing. And then there's also YouTube videos that are great tutorials, tons of those.
It's an art in itself.
Yeah, definitely. I like the term painting space given for juggling, and it's kind of a fun way to think about it in an artistic way, but it actually came from like a 2-year-old that went up to someone. This was from someone I knew that was juggling, and they said a 2-year-old came up to them and just pointed up at the clubs and was saying, painting space, painting space. And so I like thinking about it like that as a type of art.
I want to know about your sweater.
Oh yeah, this sweater, I just got it online. I got it for this because I wanted to have something fun to wear, and it is supposed to be inspired by Van Gogh. There are a whole bunch of sweaters that are inspired by Van Gogh paintings, so I don't know if it's actually like a Van Gogh painting, but it's inspired by his art.
Mountains in it that you paint.
Mm-hmm.
The dinosaurs that he painted.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I came in, I said to your friend, I love that sweater.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great sweater. Thank you.
Well, you've shown us today the spirit of what being creative does for you. And I was reading in the Dispatch, maybe you saw it yesterday, a man who has lived, he's 102, and he is as creative as he was when he was younger. And he said what keeps him young is carving toys. And so as his vocation and art together call him to all these wonderful years.
It's awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could relate
and
to that.
you can relate to it. You
Mhm.
are just having a wonderful time while we can only imagine how much work this is.
Yeah, it's for me, it's just really fun to do. It's kind of meditative. I like that it's tactile and wrapping the wires. I don't really like to use tools when I do it. I mostly do it by hand. Okay, I do use wire cutters to cut the ends of the wires, but I don't really use pliers very often unless I really need to for a particular twist or something. But I mostly just use my hands, and I like having something to do with my hands when I'm watching TV or just sitting around with friends. And so it's kind of like a thing to fidget with, and I like that too.
Great. Well, we thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. It was so great to have you here, and for everybody who tuned in on TV or online. I appreciate it.
Yes. Good. Good days, and so happy to have you with us. Thank you.